you want to become a supporter of the Core Culture Podcast? Well, it's easy as going to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/ZCM. What up, world? It's your boy NOS. We've made it to another Sunday. Finally got here. I know. September, we were gone. I'll explain that part later, but let's get into the show today. I've got the co-host, man, the one that brings it together with me. Here it is, Frankie Hubbers. What up, bro?
Frankie Hubbers, world famous in the building. Always a pleasure, NOS. So happy to have Mr. Rello in the building right now. Let's rock this joint.
We got an interview this week. I'm gonna jump into that now. The homie came through, man. Paul Rello out of New York City, dope MC. We're gonna get deep into this interview and give you guys a little bit of entertainment here. Let's get into it. So, Paul, man, tell us, bro, what part of New York you from?
So I'm from Long Island, New York, Nassau County.
Ah, man, Long Island. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, I got some roots out there. Bayshore, town of Islip, you know?
Yeah, I got a few people out there as well.
All right,
That's awesome.
shout out.
Let's get into it, bro. So how did it all start? Like, when did you actually want to do hip hop?
So I started writing at like a really young age. And I would say around like 12, 13, I kind of transitioned into hip hop. And it was just always something I did as a hobby. And I didn't really start taking it seriously until like my mid-20s. And then coming up, to where I am now for the past couple of years, I've just really taken the time. Like I've always written freestyles and stuff like that. But these past couple of years, I've just linked up with some really good people, and we've just produced, a lot of music, and I just kind of laid the groundwork down for what's to come next. So definitely excited about that.
Damn, nice. So by the time you were in your mid-20s, I mean, what triggered you to like start getting deep into it and record, though? I mean, like, who pushed you? Was it somebody that did it or you yourself?
So it was always something that I wanted to do, like kind of take it to the next level. But, in my early 20s, I was boxing, like really competing. I fought in the Golden Gloves 3 times. And a lot of my energy was put between that and everything else I was trying to balance with life. And then, mid-20s, I quit my job to go back to school. I went to school for audio engineering. And
about that, damn. So you did auto engineering before you like went into hip hop, like actually, doing it full time.
Yeah, so at like that point, I just kind of wanted to get more into the hip hop scene and just kind of, head in that direction. So I decided to go to school for audio engineering. I went to Nassau County for 2 semesters.
Nice.
And in that process, I had to go for an internship. And in Long Island, like the music scene is pretty big. There's a lot of studios out here. I have a lot of friends that are, pretty heavy into, the hip hop scene here. So I started reaching out to some of my friends, seeing if they had any studios I can do an internship at. And they plugged me in with the Giants Music Group.
Nice.
So being over there, I met my good friend Kevin Pabon. He's a producer, mixer, engineer. He had a #2 record on Billboard that he ghostwrited for an Indian artist. Had like 20, 30 million views. He's been on Sway. So we met at the studio, and we just developed a relationship. And he started sending me beats, and at that point I just started writing, and it just became like a network from there. He plugged me in with my friend Mike, who's he's a engineer. He worked with Shaggy. He was nominated for a Grammy for working with Shaggy. So we started going to his basement and recording, and just kind of built a product. A lot of people just kind of release music as they go.
Yeah.
But my plan for the past couple of years was to really establish myself and work on my craft and come up with a catalog. So that way, when it's time to press the button, all the work is done. and I don't need to focus so much on being in the studio writing. At that point, I can just focus on getting shows and promoting it, and just really so.
Damn, man, that's cool. So once you knew you were going to take this path, you started working in the studio, building up the product, like you were saying. I guess what's been the struggle to get here? I mean, you know, how did you get it going? Who did you work with?
The struggle is just kind of life, man. Like trying to balance everything. You know, you got to pay your bills. You know, I got my own spot right now with some roommates. You know, for me, it's just kind of balancing everything. You know, like I want to box, I want to do music, I got to work. You know, my relationships and stuff like that. So it's just been really challenging for me over the years to manage all of these different things. And I've kind of just come to a sweet spot right now where, you know, I've just made a lot of progress. And, you know, I've built the relationships, I've put in the work, I've put in the time. You know, I haven't competed since 2017. But for the past year, I mean, I dropped like 30, 40 pounds. Like right now, I'm in fighting shape. You know, so I'm going to be looking to get a fight at the same time and try to tie music together with boxing. So it's definitely been a journey, but I would say that just balancing life in general and all the different things that I'm trying to do has been the most challenging, and just being able to find that sweet spot.
Yeah, man, it's like what I try and tell a lot of artists that come out. Multiple streams of revenue are great, depending upon what they are, like how involved they are. In your case, boxing's pretty involved, man. There's a lot of training that has to go in there, conditioning you need to do. You know, you got to be in there. You got to go around. You might be driving to different cities, states to go and box. Music will do the same thing, right? You get on a tour, boom, you're on this bus and you're just going cross country. Where are you going to stop? You don't know. You just keep going on this tour and you keep making money and you keep going. And then by the time you look back, you're like, wait, man, I had all these other plans, but I needed to get here, right? So it's the choices that you're going to make across that. I think that you're right, man. I think that's the biggest thing, even for me, you know, doing a podcast, man, trying to come up with the best ideas to make the show good, right? Or talk to somebody or get an artist on, or just bring these things. All those little key pieces, I think, are what build us up as artists. I do want to bring up one person though. My homie Q the Question. Shout out to Q, man. He's probably one of the best promoters I think I've ever dealt with in Philly. He's got probably everybody coming at him, from the biggest companies to the smallest companies. And it's all because a man of his word, man. So always appreciate that guy, and thank him for sending you over to us, man. Really appreciate that shit.
Big shout out to Q, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Hell yeah. So, all right. So we've covered a lot of the beginning. You were working on some stuff now, right? So we're working on a track. You've got a song out right now. It's called War. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So War was actually the first beat that my friend Kevin gave me that I wrote to.
Nice.
So he wound up, you know, he had the hook, but he withheld it. He just sent me the instrumental. I came up with the bridge and the two verses, and he was like, all right, like, that's cool. He's like, but I have a hook, and he's like, I think that if we got a female on it, it would sound really good. Like, I'm going to send it over. So I'm like, yo, that's pretty dope. So at that point, we started reaching out, looking for a female artist to do the vocals, and we found Alyssa. So we linked up with Alyssa, and
is she local to you? Like, is she a New Yorker like, as well, or no?
Yeah, she's from Long Island as well.
Oh, nice. All right. So, it's a Long Island thing. All right, cool. So you got all your local people. All right. That's what it is.
Sometimes it's just easy like that, you know?
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. But it's good though. You want to like come up with people that are, you know, from your own town. You know what I'm saying? Kind of makes it easier for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just being local and stuff, not having to travel to get it done. You know, we're all relatively close, so that definitely worked out. We had a few.
I could only imagine the studio sessions you guys probably had, man. You know what I'm saying? Like putting it all down, talking and shit. That could have been amazing, dude. I wish I would have been there for that shit.
So we do a lot of like pre-production. Like we'll link up at the house and like rehearse it, go over it.
What? Oh, hell yeah, bro.
You know, the studio costs money. Like sometimes people just go to the studio like aimlessly, but for me, it's like, you know, I'm paying to be there. So when I go there, I want to make sure my parts are down, my verses are down, you know, my performance is good. So that way we're not sitting there trying to work on the same thing for 2 hours that could have been done in 30 minutes and whatnot. So we did a lot of pre-production for that record. And when we got to the studio, we just busted it out. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah, man. And I say this too, and I admire you for bringing that up, man, because a lot of guys, and I'm talking to you, you lazy artist out there, do your best, right, to prep before you go. This man just told you, if you could have gotten some great advice on the show ever, Paul just gave it to you, bro. All right. Prep, know what you're going to get into, have your plan written down, get your sections. You're like, all right, step 1, we're going to do this. Step 2, we'll do this. Step 3, we'll do this. Boom. That way, when everybody's working together, it just, man, the record sounds better and the production sounds better and everything in whole just sounds better, man. Because you know everybody knows their part. They know when they're going to come in. They know when to listen to in the beat so that they know that they're on time. I mean, bro, it's like a symphony, man. You got to put all this shit together. And Frankie, man, I've been talking for a hot minute, bro. Let's jump in here or what, man? Help me out here.
Sure thing, brother. You know I got your back, man. Tag team style. You know we're going in. We're running train on the session.
I'm like, man, I'm taking it over, but I want you to get in there, man.
Now I'm reminded of what you guys are talking about now with the. I'm reminded of an old Ben Franklin saying where it's if you don't plan, you plan to fail. Something like that. I may have butchered the saying, but if you don't make a plan, you're planning to fail. I'm one of those people who overplan. I overthink everything, so that's maybe to my fault or whatever, but I'm glad to see that Mr. Paul, Paul, do you like going by Rello? What do people call you in the streets?
I mean, I got a few different names actually, but
what you got? Give us a rundown real quick. Give us the top 3 hood names. When you're walking down the block, they're like, yo, Rello, where you at?
So my nickname as a kid was Bullethead.
Oh.
That was my nickname in 7th grade, and a lot of my friends just call me Bullet. But going with my music name, I wasn't going to do that, so I just went with Paul Rello. But Paul is cool.
Paul Rello, okay, all right.
Paul
I like
Rello.
it, man. I would be calling you Rel or Rello. You know what I mean? Rello the fellow, Rello the Jello. Where you at? I play with names like that. That's my
Rello is cool. People call me Rello as well.
Yeah, I like that. I like it because, while you're being intimate and keeping your, I'm assuming that's your government. You don't have to say here, of course, for obvious reasons.
No, it is. It's all good.
But I love it. Yeah, I love when an artist can take that real part of themselves,
Sure, man. Like I was kind of going back and forth with whether or not I should put my government as, my stage name. And I just came to a place where I really couldn't. You know what I mean? I didn't really want to go with anything else. So,
what's great about your name is that when I say it, I can literally see and hear you. Even though I've never met you, never seen you in my life, right? The minute I say the name Paul Rello, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm about to go up against. You know what I mean? I love it. It's so putting a dog's face to piss. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. Like, yo, this is what we got. So let me barrel through a couple of my questions for you. Earlier, you mentioned getting into music at 12 years old, which got me thinking. This is something that I always ask artists when I run into them, meet them for the first time. Me being a fellow hip hopper, rapper, producer, beat maker, studio engineer, you call me whatever you want. I have a lot of respect for people, especially when they say they started young. You mentioned 12 years old.
Really young. I would say I started writing poetry at like 7, 8 years old.
Wow. Okay.
I was like,
nice.
The first writing that I did. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to walk around at 7 years old with a binder, and in the binder there would be 2 words that rhymed, and each page would be filled out like that, and then I would plug them into sentences. And that's still kind of the way that I write today. But I would say I started a little younger, and 12, 13 was where I kind of transitioned into hip hop.
So that brings me into the question here. This is a perfect segue. You being 12 years old, even starting at 7, we can go back there. There had to be certain influences in your life, right? People around you who supported you or maybe didn't. Would you say your mother and father supported you in getting into music, or were they the anti-parents,
I don't think that they really knew what I was, the kind of music that I was making until in my later years. you know, as far as like the poetry, that was like elementary school, you know, like English classes and whatnot, and like I just kind of picked to it. So they always knew that. Um, you know, they weren't really for hip hop. You know, growing up, they weren't like, you know, my pops would try to keep me from listening to it. But you just get to that age where it's like, you know, you're out there and there's just only so much your parents can really do.
Yeah,
So
so true.
And you tend to do the opposite of what your parents tell you to do, right? So they tell you no, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to find me a Beastie Boys tape, a couple NWA, you know. So let's do this real quick. I got a couple more questions for you. I want to bang them out real quick. I know we got a bunch of stuff to go through. Um, I'm assuming you've hit many stages in your day. You sound like you've been to some of the most amazing studios. Um, Give me one of the craziest things to happen to you backstage. I love to hear about like either a backstage crazy story backstage, maybe something happened to you on stage. You've got hecklers that throw things at people or say shit to you, that flick you off and curse you out, you know. Give me like, you know, and if you don't have a crazy moment, just what's a memorable performance for you? Even going back to 12 years old, you can go back to 12 to now. What's something that rings a bell with you? That give me like one controversial moment and one amazing, you know, over the top fun moment for you.
So to be honest, as far as performing, you know, that's where I'm at now, where I'm getting ready to step it up. You know, I've performed a select few times. Um, you know, again, it's been like um, you know, it's been a journey just trying to put together the product. And now I'm at a place where I'm getting ready to perform a lot more. You know, I threw a big house party, probably like 70 people pulled up. We did an artist showcase back in May.
Nice.
So that was definitely a good memory. We had the basement packed out. We had a bartender.
Oh wow.
You know, people were paying to get in at the door. So that was definitely dope. I had a lot of local artists pull up. I think we had about 5 artists. So I did my set. I got another show coming up in 2 weeks. Reek the Villain's going to be headlining it. That's going to be local.
Nice.
So that's something I'm
Dope.
definitely looking forward
Shout
to.
out Reek the Villain. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
messing with
So
some big dogs out there, sounds
you're
like.
doing some more shows. You're getting some stage presence. You know what I'm saying? People starting to see you locally. Um, what's your next step after that? I mean, once you start getting everything going, what do you want to do? You feel like touring? You got any plans for that?
So I have a short film. You know, it was a very well put together music video, pretty much about my life. You know, where I did acting in it. It was a 4-day shoot. I had John Volpine, who was just nominated for a Moon Man on MTV for working with 3 Days Grace.
Nice.
So the story's basically about, you know, a homeless guy who finds his way through a boxing gym, you know, changes his life around, gets together. You know, he gets beat up in the alley by somebody, and he winds up fighting him in the Golden Gloves at the end of the film. And
Wow.
it's just, yeah, I can't wait to release this video. So right now we're just working up to that.
Mhm.
I'm going to be dropping another song in a few weeks with another music video.
Right.
But the goal is definitely to start performing locally, you know, Manhattan, New York, Long Island, and just establish a fan base here and a presence here. Start networking and really getting out there before doing any kind of touring. And then it's leading up to dropping that short film where I'm also going to be competing. You know, there's a fight November 12th that I signed up for.
Nice.
But I just had surgery last week. I had my appendix removed, so that's like a little bit of a setback for me right now. But
Yeah, bro. Plus, it's like close to the abdomen, right, where your appendix is.
yeah, they did arthroscopic surgery, so that kind of like set me back a little bit.
Yeah, and there with a little laser beam, take it out, you're good.
Yeah, but I'm feeling pretty good. And I think November 12th, you know, there's a solid chance I'll be fighting that day. So my goal is to just, you know, drop that music video while I'm fighting and also performing and just try to tie everything together. And I'm definitely going to be looking to fight in the Golden Gloves in 23.
Man, that sounds amazing, bro. Well, there you go. Best built plans that I could think of for the first part of your career, right? Like really get things going. You've got the music coming, right? You've got the boxing going. You've got this short, this short film that's coming out. But before we get too deep into any more of that, let's get into your track, man. Let's listen to War right here on the Core Culture Podcast.
I've been waiting patiently, it still ain't fill a vacancy. It's like I gotta wait until I'm dead for them to pray for me. Don't know if they gon' come around, but I don't wanna wait and see. Heard that. Bet against all the odds, then watch it fall apart. That's when I cornered God and told him that I'm torn apart. He said, son, keeping it cool, and don't you worry about the others. Just keep eating your food and everything you do. Keep on seeing it through, and very soon you'll see it too when it gets easy for you. By now I'm breathing heavily, running from these memories. It's hard to see the enemy, but God is in ahead of me. I gave up what I loved and sacrificed my integrity. Signed my life away in a dream, so separately. Afraid of failing, it's eating at me violently. Been moving silently and fighting with anxiety. You running out of time.
You running and running, but don't know what you're running from.
Yeah.
You've pointed a loaded gun,
Won't point it, right?
thinking it's all in fun. So step back and relent. Time to test out your bullets. The battle you might have won, but this war has just begun.
And now I'm not as patient. I know I gotta make it. I remember back when I caught all kinds of cases. I done came a long way from sitting contemplating, wondering if I could make it. Now it's my time to take it. Official, like a referee with a whistle. All I know is hustle, get in and let it trickle, and let it trickle, so all my guys can eat with me. Trust for what it's worth, it don't come easily. Though we on the same page, told them check your frequency. I left a couple in the dust right where they need to be. Same ones say they love you, the same ones that hate you secretly. When it's all said and done, trust them sleeping peacefully. And I ain't got time to waste, or be playing around. Fuck the vibe, I'm cutting ties, what was weighing me down. I'm on edge, better watch what they say to me now. And I ain't stopping till I'm dead and in the grave of the ground. And that's exactly what they want.
You running and running,
Right?
but don't know what you're running from. You've pointed a loaded gun, thinking it's all in fun. So step back and pull it.
Better think
Time
twice.
to test out your bullets. The battle you might have won, but this war has just begun.
Now I can't keep my feet on the ground. But right now, I'm at my lowest. I've been at it for a while, but I can finally smile. All this time waiting on my moment. And I can't keep my feet on the ground. But right now, I'm getting focused. I've been at it for a while, but I can finally smile. All this time waiting on my moment. And I can't keep my feet on the ground. And right now, I'm at my lowest. I've been at it for a while, but I can finally smile. All this time waiting on my moment. And I can't keep my feet on the ground. But right now, I'm getting focused. I've been at it for a while, but I can finally smile. All this time waiting on my moment.
Woo.
Fire.
Damn. All right, Mr. Paul Rell, going with that heat, bro. First of all, beat selection, very good. I love that you used your vocals too, right? You didn't just, only leave it to her. You kind of mixed your stuff in there too. Overall, man, powerful tune, bro. Really great, man. And again, you can tell, like, you guys actually went in there. Very well produced, bro. Love that shit, man.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. I was catching some. I don't know if this is I feel like it's a compliment, but I caught a little bit of Jedi mind tricks, meaning the actual hip hop group Jedi mind tricks. I caught a little bit of a vibe of theirs. Like, to me, you kept it very real topic. So you're dealing with real life, So right there, you grabbed me right away. I was like, okay, this is not, some bullshit about a gold chain on a corner smoking a blunt. I got mad bitches, And then I got an Anderson .Paak sort of vibe at the end when you were singing on the chorus. Like, I heard her come in and that was dope. But when you came in, it got even better. So my opinion, my tip to you would be make another version of that, right? And move that part where you're chanting on the chorus either to the middle of the song or the beginning, and work it into her, even if you only do a bar or two of it, so that you cue people like, yo, this is coming up later in the song, stay by. Because that's the part where you put the lighters up, and you have the whole crowd doing this. That's that part, and you just keep looping it for 16, 20, 30, 40 bar, and the crowd is tired of holding their hands up. They're like, I love this part, So that was dope, man. It grabbed me there at the end. It built. I don't know who produced the beat. Give a shout out to your production squad. Is that something you made? Or?
Yeah, big shout out to DG Main. That's my boy Kevin Pabone, and
Fire.
his name is DG. But
Easy.
DG is the group that they go with. But big shout out to them, man. You know, as far as beat selection, you know, I'm very, very picky with the beats that I choose. You know, some people just get a beat and then go. But for me, I got to listen to like 50, 60 beats, and I'm only picking out like 2 or 3. So that was one of the first ones that I heard, and I was like, yo, definitely going to do something with this. But big shout out to DG Main. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, that was fire. I had some, I caught some Mac Miller song structure vibes. So, you know, not that you sound like Mac Miller, but the song structure, your producer, he's kind of playing on that. Hobson, you know, is another one that has that similar song structure, if you will. And I like that it builds at the end and then just leaves you like, oh, wait, where's the rest? You know, that was great, man. Good work there. Shout to the whole camp on that.
And the bridge at the end, like I said, like, you know, KP sent me the beat without his hook, without her part. And that was the chorus that I came up with. And he was like, yo, he's like, that sounds great, but let's put that at the end and make it a bridge. And you know, that's kind of how it came together. So
yeah, man. I mean, I like it regardless. I think it's a great combination, like I said at the beginning. It's good that artists want to try and, you know, do some vocalizing. It's more of singing that chorus or singing a bridge, right? Not that they're like actually out there trying to be an R&B singer, right? It's just them singing along to their song like anybody else would. I think a lot of this stuff is great. I don't think that we need a bunch of Drakes or anybody else that wants to be like that. I think if an artist does want to do some of this, then man, it is good. You know what I'm saying? And just you put it in there and you just kind of give little smatterings and that shit sounds amazing, bro. A lot of the artists from the era that I came up with, you know, in the 90s, they would all sing their hooks like that. You know what I'm saying? They would get a little help. You would see them, and then they had the female in there. They would, you know, jump in, and it reminded me of those times too. So great look into those key pieces, man. Overall, it's just a great track. I think it'll definitely play well. Good radio track too. You know what I'm saying? If you need to get it out there, because people love those catchy hooks. They love those dope rhymes that come on top of that, man, and they just memorize it, bro. And it's gonna be pretty good, man. You just got to get it out there, and I'm sure it'll do well, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. I think it's a great introduction track to who I am as a person, some of the things that I've been through, and the type of music that I make. You know, I mean, I can make any kind of music. You know, it's easy for me to just go into any genre. I can talk about, you know, bullshit, but you know, that's a song that's really personal to me. So definitely excited to release that, and even more excited to release the next coming records. You know, I have songs that, you know, are just as good, if not better. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. So obviously we have this track. You've got like a complete album that's coming out. Are you gonna release a few singles and videos? I guess that's what you were talking about a little bit earlier.
yeah, so I mean, I'm close to, you know, having that album done. I have you know, I have like 18, 19 songs, but not all of them are gonna fit on the album. You know, so I would say I have like about 10 to 12 solid songs. But yeah, the goal is to drop a couple of singles first, leading into 23, and then eventually dropping, you know, the big project once I get to the right place. You know, you don't want to just put out an album and have it sit there. So my whole idea is to just build up to it, drop singles, build some buzz, perform, box, and get to that place where I'll be ready to drop that album. So
Hell yeah, man. That sounds like a great plan. I'm definitely looking forward to it, Paul. I mean, you've piqued my interest, man, just on this one track here. Plus you came well recommended by Cue the Question. So, man, all I can say is I wish you the best, bro. I hope that you get everything that you need. Work hard. Clearly, you have the right determination and the right drive. You've got great planning skills, which is going to help you as an artist in general because your music and your sound is going to sound amazing later. I would like to do this, man, before we get finished here. Let's let everybody know where they can find everything that has to do with Paul Rello.
word. So my website is paulrellomusic.com. You know, Spotify is just Paul Rello. That's Paulrello. Same with my Instagram, Paul Rello. Pretty much you just Google that and everything that you need will pop up right there.
Oh, yeah. All right, everybody. Well, there you have it. The amazing Paul Rello out of New York, man, coming with that dope flow. I hope you guys love that shit. Paul, again, man, thank you so much for coming on the show, brother. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing,
Peace.
man. It was nice meeting you.
brother.
Peace and
Talk
blessings.
soon. All right.
All right, cool. So here we are.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
two of
Just us. Just
Yeah.
the two of us.
That fucking song is amazing, bro.
So let
Damn,
me
you know
set
what?
up. Let me get rid of this one window here.
Are
Pardon
ya?
me
Okay,
while I
cool.
work.
Yeah, I'll keep going though.
There
But
we
anyways, we're gonna get into a few more things that we wanted to talk about. I'm gonna get into that with you guys today, and that is the fact that we didn't do any shows in September. I mean, I know you guys noticed this. I know I sure as hell did. Let me explain why. Couple things. What happened with September was we had some days off. My birthday came into play, and I was definitely not doing any shows for that. Then we got hit by a little hurricane called Ian.
Ouch.
Kind of ruined us a little bit. We didn't have power. I ended up going. I left Tampa, right? Went to a friend's house, got all the way out there. They lost power too. So really didn't have power at all the whole time. Kind of sucked. I had to wait until late Friday to even charge my phone because I didn't want to get on the road and try and drive home and then not be able to call anybody and be stuck on the middle of somewhere on I-4 somewhere and not be able to get back. So, yeah, pretty rough September for me, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was heartbreaking because I wanted to do so many things, but I ran out of time before I could get too much further.
I can relate, brother. I can relate, man. We were kind of suffering through it together here,
Hell yeah, every Florida, man. Obviously, you dealt with it. I think what bothered me is that when they did, because in Tampa they did a mandatory evacuation, which sucked. That's why the hell I had to go. It wasn't that I wanted to. They just put a mandatory evacuation for I'm not mad at Hillsborough County either. I'm just happy that they gave us the thing, but damn, man, they've never told us to leave. This time they did.
Weird, weird because we always get told to leave, and they didn't tell us to leave this time. Total opposite.
We got, bro. And you know why? Because they felt the coastal waters, and they were right. We had a bunch of coastal stuff get destroyed. The area down by like Benty and then a little further up, closer by the airport over here, like right down the street from where I'm at. Those areas were a little beat up. I mean, and I understood a lot of water came up, but that's what you got to expect, man. There's gonna be water. It's a damn hurricane. I mean, it's not gonna stop raining. It's gonna be continuous waterfall for a hot minute.
Oh man,
freaking out about this, and I'm like, bro. We get this stuff every year. This is just the first year that they ever gave us a damn mandatory evacuation. So I had to leave, which sucked, which was fine. I was like, whatever, man, I'm out. I let my day job, and thank you, my day job, for being so understanding for all this stuff. But they let me go do my thing so I can go do this, bro. So I can like get out and just like be safe, man. Then I came back finally. I'm actually getting to do this, man, after having electricity finally brought back the other day. So rough, man. It was rough, bro. All my neighbors like told me, they're like, where did you go? Where did you go? I was like, nah, man. I went up north, and it was the worst thing because it just followed me.
Yeah. I know you reached out. You had hit me up, check on me, see how I was doing. So peace and blessings for that, of course.
I know, man. I was gonna ask. Obviously, you came out good on the other end, man. You're here.
Yeah, we did all right. I mean, we suffered a little bit too. Similar to your story. We lost power. It was very wet. I mean, it was wetter than a 305 walking the Miami Strip, bro. You know what I mean? It was bad. There were puddles everywhere. Trees down. I live around a lot of trees here in Winter Park. It's loaded with all kinds of vegetation. So my garden, I went in the back. All my recao plants are leaning over. All my garlic is flopped over. All my tomatoes, everything was just ruined, But the house got a little damage. I got a little roof damage as well. But I'm alive. I'm blessed. I'm here. Power company came and hooked us up about 2.5, 3 days in. So, you know, it could be worse. I could always say it could be worse, man. I'm glad.
Hey,
I know you said you were gonna head my. You said I should have went your way. That's what you said.
yeah,
You said I went the wrong way. I should have went your way, man. What the hell?
but it
Crazy.
didn't matter. Like anywhere north that I would have went to any of my, any of my friends, it still would have got me regardless, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of sucked. I just figured I had a better plan. Apparently, my plan didn't work. It was too short notice to try and go drive out and spend a crap ton of money on a hotel. I'm not gonna lie, just too expensive, man. If anybody asks, it was just too damn expensive. I just wasn't gonna do it. I couldn't afford it, man. I got somewhere safe. I was there. I made it through it. We didn't have any power. Power was out at my house when I got back anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I had to wait on it.
You guys did have a little power outage?
Yeah. Apparently my neighbors, they had it for like 2 days straight. Mine only one
same
day
here.
because when I got back, none of my lights or anything was on. I could tell because after being home for about, I want to say an hour and a half, 2 hours, I heard my microwave come on. It plays this little tune for you every time, which is hilarious. And it played. I was like, hours back.
What about your food? Did you lose the food in the fridge? That kind of thing?
Like everything that was in there, man, I threw most of it in the freezer, and some of it was salvageable. The rest of it I just threw away, man. And I had to just go buy groceries, which kind of sucked. But it is what it is. It wasn't anything that I cared about really. Just most of the stuff that, like, just perishable stuff that I could have just ate and threw away anyway. But the fact that I spent it and never got to use it was what pissed me off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had that same thing over here. The food started going down a little bit, and it was like grill it and eat it or throw it away. So I sit here today a couple pounds heavier because of Ian.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's like we've gone through this particular struggle, right? And people keep moving down to Florida, and like I kept seeing the initiation week memes coming out. I did one myself. It was pretty funny when I was finally able to do it. But yeah, man, all the people that were down here and thinking, man, it was going to be an easy fall for them. It was not. You got hit by a hurricane first year. So if you were down here, welcome to Florida.
Welcome.
Love you guys.
A lot of people got scared for this one, man. It was really wet and windy, and it was.
It's like every year, and then they kept, it keeps escalating. They keep giving us, and like this time it was a category 3 when it finally landed, which is still high and still very destructive. And a lot of times they've made it, maybe they're like category 2, category 1 once they hit land, because of course the Gulf has certain warmer spots, and it starts to slow down. It gets a little colder, and then it hits that, because we're in that part of wherever that jet stream is, where the wind changes right there, and it always pushes somewhere. That's why they never know where the freaking hurricane's going to go, because once it gets in there, that just starts pushing it around, and it just terrorizes the whole state, which is basically what happened. And I don't even know how bad like North Carolina came out with because they got the tropical storm side of it. We got the hurricane, they got the tropical storm.
Yeah, and it sat above us. It just sat here, just pounding on us for a good 48 hours, just giving it to us.
Yeah, it had fun. It had fun beating us up. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you.
That's what we get for pumping all that water out of the St. Johns River and selling it to these water bottle companies. The earth got to compensate. Mother Nature steps in and goes, hey, man, you guys need more water and wind? Sure thing. Here you go. Whoosh,
Mother Nature's replenishing.
What's funny about that? I had wrote this thing. I was thinking when you hit me up and you said, hey, we're going to rock a show.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, bet, let me get some things together. And I was like sitting there going, how can I correlate a hurricane to hip hop? Right. So I started thinking, oh, I know what to do. Let's grab like artist names and artist songs who were related to like storms, Mother Nature, wind, that kind of shit, right? So I'm gonna go over this list with you real quick, just because it's something I wrote. I got to get it out of my system.
Do it, man. Let's do it.
So the first thing that popped into my mind, because it was a hurricane, was Hurricane G. If for those who don't know that are tuning in, Hurricane G, the female rapper who came up through Redman. I can't think of the name of his clique now. He's like PPP got the Glocks and Techs and something. I can't think of the name of them, but either way, Hurricane G, famous Latin female rapper. I believe she was from Jersey, so she had this dirty Jer sound, very vulgar. And I wrote down what she said. Let me see if I can find it real quick. She said, "Hey, yo, Red Man, what the fuck, Red Man? Get the fuck off that punk smooth shit. You better get with that hardcore." You know what I mean? And now he changes the song. One of the greatest hip hop songs ever. So check that out, Redman and Hurricane G. Do you remember this song, NOS? You remember this?
I do. I know Hurricane G, man.
Yeah.
She was awesome, actually. Very rare. Unfortunately, she didn't do very much.
Yeah. Sort of underground, couple little things.
Yeah,
here
but
and there.
she was a part of. She got on there when they were all Def Squad. It was obviously Eric Sermon.
That's right. Keith Murray,
Keith
Redman.
Murray. That's exactly. They were all.
That's so interesting that you bring that up because I wrote on my list Keith Murray, Redman, and Eric Sermon, right? Putting out the El Nino album, which is another Storm reference. Right?
Exactly. So there was but that's the thing. Like, there's always been references to all types of weather-related things, right? Starang Wanda, they have a song on the Gun Clappers, right? It was Hurricane Starang,
like
I think.
A hurricane, busting shots, some shit like that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, there's these great references, man.
That's
so like
a good one, man. I didn't even think of that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, come on, dude. I'm like a hip hop historian.
I know, bro. That's why I fucks with you, cousin.
Bringing it up.
So to add to that, I found The Doors. They have a song called "Riders on the Storm," right?
Exactly.
They did a song with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg did a remix of their song, of course, because their leader's dead and gone. But for the video game Need for Speed, that soundtrack, if you listen, they have a dope, it's fire version of Riders of the Storm with a hip hop beat under it, and Snoop is busting a verse to it. That was probably a game changer for me. It's sonically amazing, and it's like, how can you pull off a remix like that? From bringing something up from the dead like that and giving it to Snoop, man. Are you familiar with this mix?
If anybody could have did it, it was probably him anyway.
Crazy, right? It's just ghostly when you hear it. You're just like, "Riders on the Storm," and that beat is dum 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 dum. The way they did the very West Coast beat, very West Coast sort of
man.
vibe or whatever.
I mean, I don't know who produced it, but whoever did, kudos to you, bro.
And then just to end it off, I don't know if you got any other ones to add to this. That would be great. But I feel like DJ Tornado should be a thing, right? Like, there's got to be a DJ Tornado out there, right?
There's probably somebody out there. I bet you that's his name.
Come on, like a Tornado, DJ Tornado.
I didn't
get a chance to research
DJ
this.
Hurricane or something,
Ooh, DJ Tornado. Here we are.
See, told you.
He's on Facebook, everyone, just so you know.
All right. If you're gonna find any hurricane related stuff, some great artists. We talked about some today. You guys should definitely check those out, man. Let's get into album releases this year. All right, so we're talking about the last half of the year. So October. There's only one in here that I truly care about. All right. But it's Kool G Rap. He's going to be bringing out the album Last of a Dying Breed, October 14th. So in just a couple of weeks here. Ooh. I'm looking forward.
Ooh, I didn't know that. You just put me on. I love Kool G Rap, bro. That's like one of my that's a top 10 for me.
Exactly, bro.
That's top 10.
And then there is something else in here. I think it was an honorable mention before. That we talked about it, I think, on the last show, which was the Kid Cudi album that got released back on the 30th, Intergalactic. So I was like, yo, man, and we were talking about Kid Cudi, and this motherfucker brings out an album. So I'm definitely going to listen to that shit because I'm sure it's really good. Usually most of the stuff that he does is pretty damn amazing. But I am looking forward to this Kool G Rap. I'm gonna have to wait another couple weeks before it comes out, but I will definitely get to be starting to stream that bad boy because I'm sure it's amazing.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about that one. Kid Cudi's cool too. I think it's a little more of an artsy. It's very opposite spectrum of G Rap.
It is. He's like, I'm telling you, man. He's like that like alternative rap, which I don't know, man. It has a special place for me, man. A lot of people, you know, are like, why? And I'm like, dude, because it just does. It just works. You know what I mean? Like a lot of what I wanted to do just works, bro. It's not a big deal, man.
Yeah, I think it's a very. It's almost like if it were the '90s, that would be alternative. It would be considered alternative hip hop. Back then, they had a very distinction. It was like, okay, you know, this is hip hop, this is gangster rap, this is alternative hip hop. You know, what do you think of G Rap? Just going back to G Rap real quick. What do you think of G Rap getting his voice impediment fixed by getting a surgery?
I mean, I don't know, bro. He's always had that you know, man, and Cool G Rap, bro, please, no offense. That small lisp almost, right? Very, very light in the back of like when he's spitting rhymes. I don't know, man. I think that
Do you miss it?
no, I mean it's just who he
Really?
is.
Wow.
I mean
I
it's
miss
been
it,
who
man.
he is. He always spit in a certain style. I mean, that it's not as present as it was in the past. Maybe you can tell that part, but I'm talking about just the rhymes themselves and who he is and what he's putting down. That never changed. You know what I'm saying?
That hasn't changed. I agree, but I miss it, man. He used to be
Yeah.
like when he would say like Barbados, it would be Barbados. I'm in Barbados with Babos, Sabos, and Fabos and Rabos. You know, like everything had this crazy lisp to it. That to me, like kind of made it. It was saucy. It added this little saucy vibe,
Yeah,
man.
it was still who Coogee Rap was, man.
Well, I mean, if you look at the early Wu Tang albums, a lot of them had fronts in when they were laying their verses. So you hear Method Man going, "Excuse me as I kiss the sky, kiss the
Yeah,
all this SE sloppy shit, you know." And
yeah.
that you know, I mean, let's talk about 50 Cent. Made a whole fucking career of having his fucking jaw blown off by a gun. It's like, to take you to the candy shop, you know. He
So did Kanye.
Oh
Just
wow, look at that. Another one. And Conway, you know what I'm
and
saying?
all right, but Conway the Machine got that other one where it like actually like stops the motor functions in that side of the face or
Nerve damage or something.
but I forgot what that's called. I'm sorry.
And
Conway.
Kanye was a car accident, right? Car
Yeah,
accident and broke his jaw.
destroyed that shit. But still, all of them in some kind of like accident that like severely damaged their face in some
Wow.
way.
That's
Came
so
out the other
crazy.
side making a shit ton of money, which is amazing. That's all
I
I'm gonna
mean,
say.
that's God when God takes
Good deal, man.
when one of your senses get taken away from you, you know, they say your others get stronger, right?
Hell yeah. So also, since you brought him up, his God Don't Make Mistakes came out this year, 22. Benny the Butcher's Tana Talk 4 came out this year. So I'm just saying there's some pretty decent albums that are out there for 22. I suggest you guys go check those out. I just brought up Cool G Rap because, man,
Yeah, give me that one again, man. Cool G Rap was what was the name of the album? Had an ill title. The greatest, the dying breed, something. Last of a dying breed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, I'm putting that shit in my notes, bro. That's
There it
a
is.
winner right there.
Oh,
G-Rap.
for sure.
You know
Hands
what's the
down.
greatest G-Rap shit, man? Was when all of his like the Ill Street Blues album. You lose because I got the Ill Street Blues. You lose. That shit is woo fuck. And then he did some shit with Nas. Ooh, I'm packing scramblers in Alabama. And it's oh my God, bro. Oh, some of the greatest hip hop music ever fucking created on the face of the earth. Cool G
Damn.
Rap,
Cool G Rap,
DJ
bro.
Polo. Whoa, watch out. Watch out.
Bro. You're taking me back, but these are the things that I keep talking about. It's like these guys that were pretty you know, influential when I was coming up, and now that they're still making music, and I could be like, damn, bro, I get to still witness some of this dope ass shit. You know what I mean?
Crazy, bro. Crazy. When we're blessed that these guys are coming back out. You know, I'm glad there's a renaissance in hip hop going on right now. I don't know if you could feel it. I'm definitely getting a lot of energies.
Every time I get every time I get like a little, you know, I feel it. Like every time, like I've been seeing a lot of newer artists that have been coming out that I've been really focusing on the art style, which is very lyrical, less of the mumble rap guys, more of like the actual lyrical guys I'm seeing coming out. And it's making a big push because I think that hip hop itself as a culture realizes, okay, there is a spot for them, but here's what hip hop is. This is just a specific genre. And it's not,
No, you hit it right on the head, man. We're
know what I mean? Like
We're-
we're evolving so much that it's like, here's what hip hop is, and then there's all these other genres if you feel like listening to that stuff, right?
yeah. I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to push these artists to try a little harder. You know, I feel like a lot of these new age artists have got it easy. They've got
You
it.
think so? Do you think that they because they cookie cutter everything, right? They the PCs that they buy themselves has whatever doll they want. They put it on there.
Speak on it, brother. Exactly.
Chop up all the loops. Everybody has that same drum sound. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody's got that same one that they did it with all those type of tracks. It's different when you there's a formatted style music. A good example of this would be drill. Drill has a very specific format, specific BPM it needs to be at. There are certain types of hi-hats that you use to push the song along in a quick manner, which is why you hear these guys spitting, and they're spitting fast because the beat is actually faster than your traditional hip hop.
Here's the challenge that I pose to these artists.
Yeah.
Yes, you made a drill beat. It's a #1 hit, whatever, right?
Ooh.
But you pulled a pack off the internet. The internet gave you a Grammy award-winning mastered sound pack with loops in it. You took those loops, you took those hi-hats, those kicks that were Grammy award-winning, mixed already in the studio, pushed out to you at their finest levels they could ever possibly be. And you turn around and you started with great ingredients. You started with amazing ingredients. Fine. You've got it easy. Our generation, people like Pete Rock, DJ Premier, those guys had to sample a record off of a James Brown cassette tape that lost all of its quality because it was hissy. And they had to trim that, filter it, edit it, bring it back in hundreds of times via tapes, put it onto digital, that cassette.
They would sample.
You know what I mean? They had to work really hard, then get to the studio and try to enhance that further. A great example that maybe the youngsters might be able to relate to would be a Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla would sit there and play the drums 3 different ways. He'd tape the drum down, make it tight, take the tape off, make it loose, sample it from the side. He was sampling music like a rock musician would.
Yeah.
Now you come along, you go on the internet, you grab
you buy
you buy $100 worth of splice loops, right? Exactly, and a few free snares, 808s or whatever. You make a little Yachty record, that shit goes platinum, and you're telling me that you're the motherfucking man because you know how to keep tempo? I can't respect it as much as I could respect maybe some kid who
all loops yourself. Well, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I know I'm getting loud and heated. It's just one of those things,
true.
man.
It's true. Like let's talk about the differences between the cookie cutter producer or the actual producer, because there are those. I'm not going to say any names, but you know who I'm talking to. All right. There are a lot of those. And here's the thing I'm saying. Every producer that I know specifically, there are very few, but the ones that I do know all either take from their own machines and they tap out their sample, or they take a record. Yes, I said record, vinyl. And they let that bitch spin, and I've got my fucking, you know what I'm saying, my MPC hooked up to that bitch, and I'm just like, let me sample that. Let me sample that little piece. Let me sample that little piece. And I'm just hitting my button until I got all my sample. And then I chop that up if I want, right? And I break it down into whatever I want. I assign it to my numbers. And now I'm still building, but it's me doing it because I'm the one on the keys. You see what I'm saying?
And you know what I'm going to add to that, man? I think even that has been lost on people because I see a lot of these kids now that are making beats and they've got this program that chops the kicks and snares for you.
Automate the whole process.
Fades the end of it. It adds reverb, delay. It adds all that automatically. In my day, I had an SP1200 and an MPC. You had very limited shit. The MPC was light years ahead. The SP1200 had no effects. You literally sent the dry ass snare out and had to, in your equipment, give it reverb, delay, attack. You know, it's a very different world. They have it so easy now. And I use their shit. I am hopping on to all of these services, grabbing free kicks and snares, and like, oh, this is amazing that this sounds so sonically huge. And oh, it was produced by some guy that did the Kanye record. Wow, you know, I just
Yeah.
grabbed a Kanye level kick. I just grabbed a J. Cole level horn loop, and was able to royalty free slap it into my production. That's not how we had to like. Oh man, I don't know. I don't want to sound like
I don't,
the old guy saying,
I
"Get off my lawn, you little shits," but I hate that. Like every time I turn on YouTube, man, I see these people that are like, "Today I'm going to show you how to make a beat," and they go into it, and all they do is grab a snare, a hi hat, a kick off the internet. It's already produced. It's already. They're not layering like me. I used to put 5 kicks together, 5 kick drums to make one kick, and one would be dry, one would be wet, one would have reverb, one would be just the click, one would have all the high frequencies taken out of it,
yeah,
one would have tape distortion. You know what I mean? Just to
exactly.
get a kick that doesn't even sound that good. You get it, you're like, all right, that's good. Now I need to enhance that further.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've been sending me some beats lately, man, and I've been appreciating those. You've been
What do you think? What do you think about my latest one, man? Give
that
me
was
some.
dope, man. That was fire. That last shit was hot. That last shit was hot.
Like one? You like that one?
I like
Okay.
that one. Yeah, I like
I've
that
been
one.
trying. I've been going
The
trying.
cymbal on the kick. Ooh, that's something I do. When I heard it, I was like, ooh, with the
Did you
cymbal
like?
hitting the kick, I was like, ooh,
Can we let?
ooh.
You know what? We're gonna listen to just a little sample
Let's
here.
do it.
I'm gonna go. Okay, just a little piece.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
Oh,
Bring that shit up. That last one was fire, man. The one before it was good too.
yeah, just
But
a little
this
piece.
last shit was.
All right, ready? Ready?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
All right, that's all I'm gonna give y'all.
Bro.
That little sample. I'm gonna tell y'all
Bro.
that one's called "Melting Steel" because I spit fire on that shit. If I was whoever I was, if I was an artist, that's what I would say. Because that's how good that song is. So
That shit
hopefully,
was hard, bro.
we get some dope shit. Obviously I'm looking to you, Frankie, because I sent it to you.
I'll tell you what I would do to it, man. I would go Billy Dance on that motherfucker, bro.
Fuck yeah.
You know
Let's
what I'm
call
saying?
Bill right. Let's just call Bill right. Guys, fuck, get
But
on the
me and
track.
Billy, I'm talking about me and Bill on it. What the fuck?
Yeah. Hey, I'm saying you two. It's like, well, fuck that. If you're gonna do that, then
Telling you, man.
just might as well bring all of MOP, and then it's just you. So
Let's
it's
go.
Low Fame,
Let's go.
Billy Dan, Frankie Hovers, all in the
Danger!
studio.
I fucking go crazy on them. Let's do it.
Oh, they would crush that beat. Think about it. They would crush that beat. And I only played like the very, very beginning of it. I mean, it's pretty dope just right there, but I didn't even let the rest of the beat kick in, man. You guys,
that shit needs like a Mob Deep sample. It needs like a Havoc or a Prodigy line. Like just a word out of there. You know what I mean? I'll make you famous. Like it echoes or something. I don't know.
I need some shit. I got to get it. I mean, you have the song.
Oh yeah, you sent me that joint. I rocked that one.
You can technically put that together.
That one moved me, man, for sure.
I know.
I know. You were kind of hinting at that. I was like, oh, all right, maybe. So right now, I'm tying up a 10 batch. I did 10 songs over a 3-week period, and I'm getting those sent off to New York for mastering. So I'm trying to raise some funds for that.
Oh.
So if you know anybody that needs a website built, hit me up. Big shout out to my man D holding it down. He says he can produce some amazing quality web work. I've seen him. He does back end stuff on Facebook marketing and ads and whatnot. He's a hacker and a jack of all trades, master of everything.
Gotta love
Beats
that.
by D. Big shout out to my man Derek Murray, man. So if I can get a website built, I can fund my mastering project. So it's kind of like a GoFundMe campaign, but it's a go find a fucking website that needs to be developed campaign. But either way, man, 10 songs getting shipped out to New York. We found this amazing kid he's got this like sort of funk, Anderson Paak, Amy Winehouse sort of mix to him.
Yeah.
So, and I've got a lot of like hip hop shit that kind of bleeds into this sort of soulful singy territory.
Nice.
In a weird way, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited, man. So keep sending me those beats, bro. I'll definitely drop some shit. I know you got some connects out there on the West Coast. Me being on the East Coast, really, I'm in the center of Florida, but you being on
Oh, yeah, you're Central
the
Florida.
West Coast over
I'm
there.
literally West Coast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you West Coast all day, bro.
Like right that way, and there's the water. You know what I mean?
Tampa vibes. Yeah, Gulf of Mexico holding it down. The best sunsets in the fucking world, bro.
Go, baby.
Wow. Beautiful there. Can't wait to go back.
But listen, let's do one more thing. I know it's kind of late in the show. I'm just gonna talk about it. I know you guys didn't see Iwani this time. I'll tell you guys why. He's pursuing his art. He's been doing a bunch of local shows, man. Just kicking ass, being able to, get his stuff out there. And I'm just so proud of him, man. I told him, I was like, bro, go do it, man. If you've got the opportunity to get your stuff out there and make some damn money, then go do it, bro. So he's been focusing on that. So if you guys are wondering why Ioane wasn't here, he is focusing on his art career, which he's been doing it for a while. So it's been blowing up lately, and he doesn't have as much time as he used to for the show. So he's focusing on that, which I'm very proud of him, man. I got to go to some of his stuff last night, got to revisit some of his other pieces that he put out, specifically a lot of the Outcast stuff. So if you guys haven't seen it, check him out. It's Rodriguez Photo and Art. It's my homie Ioane. Some really dope art, man. If you want paintings, he can pretty much do anything you want. Just got to tell him what it is and put it together, and you guys could probably work on that. But either way, if you want to see some of his already completed stuff, definitely check him out there. It is super dope, bro. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that today, so nobody was like, "What's going on, bro?" So I wanted to talk about it. There's nothing. There's nothing bad. Just he's doing amazing with his art stuff, and I can't tell him not to go do that. You know what I mean? I'm like telling him, no, bro, go do that. You know what I'm saying? You're getting the shows, you're getting your stuff out there. People are buying his stuff. You mean I can't tell him not to. You know what I mean? It's amazing, bro. Plus, he's an amazing artist, bro. And if you guys haven't checked him out, remember Rodriguez Photo and Art on Instagram.
That's right. Yeah, it's an amazing mind, man. He's filled with as you're saying, he's an artist. It's really hard to balance so much when you're focusing your mind on several things. I know he's a talented artist, man. I'm so blessed to have seen the man in action. I can't wait to get him into the studio so he can rock with us. We got a few ideas coming up soon here. Ioane, man, one love, peace and blessings, man. I need you to come through, and I need you to bless me with some art, bro. If you haven't checked this guy out, please listen to my man NOS when he tells you Rodriguez Photo and Art. Go there, log in, clock in. I think you will be impressed by this person's mind. And that's what I was trying to get at was, the mind works in a mysterious way. And it's hard to devote energy to everything all the time, trying to be everywhere all at once. You know what I'm saying? I think because, I'm not an artist. I don't know if you are or not. I'm not an artist when it comes to
not in that.
Seeing the world and Xeroxing it back onto the world. That to me is such a mind. It's like when you see someone use their magic powers in a movie and then they get weak after. That would be me if I had to paint or physically draw something. It would just leave me like that. So I get why, it becomes such a valuable thing. But big shout out to Ioane, man, for sure, man. Core Culture Podcast forever and always. He's a true flying junkie as well, and a brother. We love you, my guy.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's get into the last segment of the show this week. We're going to be talking about one last album, and this is probably the most monumental album that I want to see completed. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre reuniting for the Missionary album.
The Missionary album.
Now, here's my thing. I know, I heard the.
I don't know.
I'm like, Missionary, bro, what's this about? But here's the thing, all right? Anything Snoop gets on, right? And he's, well, I mean, come on. His very first album was Doggy Style. Maybe this is the next album in the names of positions, right? Doggy Style, Missionary. The one after that might be called Threesome. I don't know. You know what I mean? My whole point is that I think he's falling down that path. Well, am I the only one that's seen this, or am I getting too on you guys.
Wow, you know what's funny is at first glance, my reaction was, oh, everyone's jumping on this Kirk Franklin, Kanye West, missionary church thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as you're saying it, I'm realizing there's a double meaning going on there. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm gonna have to research
He's
this more,
dogging
man.
style, and then he's using missionary, right?
Uh-huh.
Doggy was that. Boom. Now he uses missionary, and then
I'm blown
the
away
third
right now. If that's if
tell me Snoop, bro, the third album, you should just call it Threesome. And that'll be the last one, bro. That's it.
Okay.
Call it Threesome. The last one.
Ah,
That way
man.
you got, Doggy Style was the first position, Missionary the second, and then Threesome would be 3, and that would be the completion of that.
Makes total sense, bro.
Oh.
Especially in today's age, man. Genius.
Let's go.
Man. Fucking genius.
All right, Snoop, you can have that one. That's like $1 million idea, bro. I'm just handing them out this week. I've got a ton of them. Don't worry. There's a bunch.
Now, can I question the other side of it though? Do you think there's going to be any play on religion mixed in with that missionary?
I mean, no, they've done the teasers. If you go on all of their stuff, they drop teasers everywhere. You can see some of it.
So there was no religious symbolization in there. No,
I didn't hear any yet. All right. Like you can go around. I'm pretty sure there's some on Insta and throughout the internets, and I'm probably sure that there'll be some people who probably try and leak some shit because that's what they always try and do to the best albums, right? They try and leak some of it, and there's always some controversy. So don't leak, guys. Let the motherfuckers put this shit out so we can enjoy it, and then you can enjoy it later. All right? Jeez.
Yeah, but that's part of the industry, bro. I mean, come on. There's been entire careers made off of the bootleg.
I mean, build anticipation, but don't leak it out to where we've got an entire song and then I'm like, come on, bro. Like this takes away from me wanting to listen, right?
Okay.
Because if I get little snippets, little 20-second snippets where you don't know what it is, but it's this little thing and you're like,
sure.
That's interesting. What does that sound like? Then it makes you want to understand, wow, I should probably listen to the rest of this. What's the rest of the song sound like? That's what they get you on. That's what the algorithm's based on, bro. 15 to 30 seconds. I can get you hooked with this little sound and you start listening. You're going to listen to the rest of it because I already hooked you this far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't, look at everything that you do. Well, how long is your reel? It's 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds is the reel. The songs and everything that you do only give you a certain part of the song. That's why when you go to add audio to any of those little things you do, it stops after a little bit because they only allow to use pieces of it. And those bytes are within, I think it's the allowable amount that you can use without copyright infringement. There's a certain amount of time if you're using it for whatever, blah, blah, blah,
that's
right?
Correct. Yeah.
So think about it. Until they can give us that full thing where we can just say F it and just do a thing like when you're on Snapchat and you just happen to have your music playing and you start your Snapchat and it'll just keep recording everything for those. It has 5 or 6 little windows and it's the whole song that you recorded. It was a 2-minute song. You got a minute and a half of it on there.
Yeah, people are gonna drop off anyways,
Wow,
that's crazy, man. Doggy Style to missionary to what was the other one? The threesome.
The threesome will be the last
Things
one.
in threes.
I'm saying that. I don't know if that's the name of it. Okay, I don't know if that's.
There's the reverse cow. We got to think of, you got the reverse cowboy, right?
Yeah, exactly. He can come up with any one of the positions. I'm sure if I talk to Snoop about this and tell him what I'm saying, he's gonna look at me and be like,
"Oh, I'm sure he's got some great answers for this one."
Yeah, I wish I could. Snoop, bro, I'm just throwing this out there into the world. Snoop, one day, bro. I just want to have you on the show, man. I just want to talk about everything you've done. It's fucking amazing. And a lot of the new shit, man. We don't have to talk about all the old stuff. I want to talk about the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? We don't even got to talk about that other shit.
I want to talk about Snoop lying. I want to talk about Ain't Nothing But a G Thing,
Oh.
I want to talk about that barbecue they were at, man. There was some scandalous shit going on there. Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, there's been some leaks and stuff. Not leaks, but I think they've been doing little things that kind of surface to say, hey, you can see them, photos of them everywhere and stuff like that, right? So again, everything's an illusion or alluding to what could come out. I mean, me in general, anything that Dre and Snoop come on and do is probably going to be good, bro. Them guys have been making money together for a very long time. They already know what the winning formula is. They've adjusted that formula to continue to win, if you notice. And
Facts.
for them to do an album now is epic, bro. Come on. Like anybody that was even within that age range right now, and sorry for the young kids that don't know who Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg is. Well, you might know who Snoop Dogg is. Dre, depends, right? Depends on the setting, right? Or who your dad is. But anyway, so long story short is a lot of dope shit, a lot of dope albums coming out very soon. They don't have an exact release date. Again, it's just like kind of out there. Nobody really
he's kind of talking about it in the news.
You know what I'm saying? They don't really know.
And big shout out to Dr. Dre's family. I know Dre went recently through a health scare. I hope he's healing and recovering. And this way we can get more amazing projects from the man. So big shout out to the Dr. Dre's family. Andrew, I believe his name is Andrew. I don't know his last name, unfortunately, but big shout out to those on the other side dealing with that over there. Speedy recovery, brother.
Hell yeah, man. All right. Well, everybody, we're done. I think that's it. I covered everything. I'm looking at my list. Let me double check.
I think we're good. We had a good show, man. Rello was on, right? We ripped up with Rello. That was amazing.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm looking at my stuff. Trying to figure out. Yep. A Golden Glove prize fighter.
Yeah, man. We bought on a fucking prize fighter. This show is off the motherfucking meat rack, bro. Big shout out to Customato up in heaven looking down on us right now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, bro. Again, another shout out to the homie Q the Question, bro, as always. Just probably one of the best promoters you'll ever meet in Philly. Also owner of SKE Records, which I am the A&R for. So if you guys ever want to get in tune or you want some help, that is the man, and I can get you there. Also, shout out to everybody who tunes in each and every week, man, and checks out the show. This week's shows are a little off of schedule. I know I tried to kind of get this thing going in a way that would make sense for everybody. Sorry, it wasn't exactly perfect. I know I wanted to do more, but here's what I want to say. For October, since we did a show now, we will be doing a show on the 4th Sunday, which that'll be coming up here very soon, which should be the, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should be the 23rd. Guys, going to be around for the 23rd. That'll be the second show of October. We had to kind of change the times around because there are extra weeks in the month, which is fine. But I hope you guys have been enjoying this shit. Sorry that we had to take off for September. Unfortunately, life got really difficult. But I appreciate everybody who tunes in. Frankie, thank you, man, as always, bro. Let everybody know where they can find you, man.
You know where to find me, Frankie Hovers, world famous flying junkies at Frankie Hovers, and also my secondary at Flying Junkies. It's a blessing to be here with the Core Culture family as always. Big shout out to Rello for coming by and blessing us, and big shout out to Yoani. I'm ready for the next one, man. 2-3, Michael Jordan. Here we come. Bang.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. And I'll close the show out with saying you can find me at The Real Noslin everywhere. And check out the show on Twitter at Core Culture Pod and on Facebook at Core Culture Pod, and then 0C Media over on Instagram. Peace, everybody.